Hey, welcome to today's episode of the Conviction Fiction. I'm your host, Antoine Rivers. And if you're tuning in today, you're about to hear one of the most powerful stories of transformation ever. One that shows the struggle, the strength, and the healing that comes with recovery. And whether you're listening on your commute to work while you are working or wherever you may be, I want to thank you for spending this time with us. Now, today's guest is Morgan McFadden, who has walked a difficult path through addiction and found the courage to make a change. Her story is not just about recovery from drugs and alcohol, but all about the resilience to admit when help is needed and to take that first step toward healing. Now, Morgan's experience is one that will resonate with many, whether you're on your own journey or looking to understand the challenges that come with it. It's all relevant. So, before we dive into Morgan's incredible story, I want to take a moment to remind you that the journey to recovery is different for everyone. There's no one size fits all path, but there's always hope and there's always a way forward. So let's get started because we have Morgan McFadden on the Conviction Fiction. All right, seems like deja vu. Seems like deja vu. Hey, Morgan, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for joining us today. We had some technical difficulties on the first taping, but Morgan gladly obliged to come back and share her story again. So I guess we could start like we did from the jump on yesterday. Morgan, tell us a little bit about your story and how you got to this point in your recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my addiction started at 18. It started just like any other addiction starts. You're around the wrong people, you pick up something, you try it, and then you nosedive right into it. Well, at least that's how I did.
Okay.
Uh, I got sober for 5 years up until 2 years ago, and that's kind of whenever everything went downhill.
Mm, okay. So with everything going downhill, was there like a turning point? Because most times it's the turning point. Because before your transition, um, there are always those struggles. What were some of the biggest struggles you faced with your addiction?
Honestly, trying to juggle addiction with everyday life.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. All right. So was there the next question was kind of in that same vein. What made you realize that you weren't in control of your addiction anymore? Even after years. I mean, you took a 5 year hiatus from this stuff. What made you realize that you weren't in control anymore?
I watched people die around me. I lost friends. I lost my kids. I lost everything. And up until that point, I had always thought that I was in control of my addiction because I could still pay my bills, pay my rent, have a car, have a house until I didn't.
Hmm. Okay, so it's like that functional addiction where you could
Right.
like have things and then all of a sudden they're gone. Right.
Yeah.
So addiction is often seen as a personal battle fought behind closed doors and cloaked in shame. Now, Morgan, you've been really open about your experience with crystal meth and the lengths you went to hide your struggles. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into that just for a little bit. For those listening who may not be familiar with addiction, it's important to remember that it doesn't have a face, it doesn't have a type of person it targets. People from all walks of life can end up in the grips of addiction. And more often than not, it starts with something as simple as believing we have control over it. Like Morgan said, until we don't have control over it. So, can you walk us through, Morgan, through what it was like for you to keep your addiction hidden, even from those closest to you? I remember we talked a little bit about Caitlin on yesterday.
Yeah. So I have a best friend. Her name's Caitlin Martz. She has been there through everything with me, and I'm super thankful for that because if I had not had her just as a friend telling me that, like, hey, you really need to get better, like, this isn't you, I probably wouldn't have came to the realization sooner than what I did, you know?
Mm. Okay, so when you were in the depths of addiction, you had your friend right there. How did you manage to try to keep it hidden, or were you kind of open with it?
Um, no, I was not, but it was out of fear of losing her because I lost pretty much everybody else. Um, and honestly, at one point, I did feel like I lost her, but she's really just been there every single time that I've needed her. And to me, that's an amazing thing because most people aren't, especially if you're an addict.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, were there any moments of self realization, like you were like totally high at your mind or whatever, and then you knew things were spiraling out of control? Like, were there any self realization moments for you?
For sure. I would sit in rooms while I was getting high and just be like, I know I'm better than this. Why am I here? But in the addict mind, you start blaming everyone else and you don't want to take a look at yourself and be
Mm.
like,
Uh,
okay, so
y-
I'm running
Yeah.
from problems instead of facing them.
Yeah. What were the biggest challenges you faced in trying to maintain that appearance of like everything is cool, or that appearance of trying to remain in control, knowing deep down that you were struggling? What were the biggest challenges with that?
Honestly, work. Um, I was a mom full time. I had my kids all the time, and it really started to show in my kids because whenever I would go and get high and go on benders, I would send them with my mom so
Mm.
that they weren't around it. And I thought for some reason that was like me being a good mom because I didn't have it around them. But I never wanted to be like, oh, I'm the problem. I always wanted to be like, okay, well, this person did this to me. So it's okay to go get high and to go pawn my kids off on my mom or, that kind
Hmm.
of thing. I didn't, this whole self reflection thing wasn't ever a thing for me.
Yeah. One of the most difficult parts of recovery is the decision to ask for help. There's so much shame and fear that can come with admitting that we can't handle things on your own. Now, Morgan, you said something powerful in our introduction. But basically, it's okay to admit to yourself that you need help. And I think this, for so many people, this is the hardest part of the journey, but it's also the most freeing moment. So, what did it feel like for you to, take that first step, admitting that you needed help?
Honestly, it was overwhelming because I had watched everything fall apart around me and I lost my kids. Like I said, I lost my house, I lost my car, um, I lost friends. I'm super thankful for, the best friend that I have and that she's been there and she's still there. But I could have lost her too. And I think what made me realize and finally come to the realization that I was no longer in control is by going to jail and losing my kids and just having that overwhelming like guilt just wash over me.
Mm.
And in jail I was like, God, look, I don't even believe in you right now, but if you want me to believe in you, I need you to do something because
Yeah.
I'm at my lowest that I've ever been.
Yeah. I can remember we talked a little bit about yesterday about, feelings of atheism, like you were
Mhm.
being an atheist at one time. So you
Yeah.
you you came to this realization, you talked to your higher power. And after that talk, I mean, you made a decision to get help. Now how did this challenge your previous beliefs about control and independence? I mean, you were that independent, I'm in control, and now you're kind of giving it up. How hard was that?
Oh, it was really hard because I was raised kind of in a household where admitting that you need help or just needing help in general wasn't a thing. If you needed help with something and you couldn't overcome something by yourself, that meant that you were weak.
Mm.
And having emotion or, feeling like having feelings in general really made you weak. So I always thought that if I could not overcome addiction by myself, then I was weak. And nobody wants to admit that, that they're weak or that, they're powerless.
Yeah. Yeah, no one wants to do that. And for those similar or who might be in this same place. I mean, I think it's important that, we have you as one of the leading voices when it comes to addiction, overcoming it, to say that it's okay to feel powerless. It's okay to not be in control. It's okay to feel dependent. Okay. So, how would you tell that person who might be in a similar space where you were, that did not, or did not have does not have a belief in a higher power or not? How would you suggest they kind of find their way?
So I remember sitting in jail, and like I said, if you would have asked me about a month ago, had I believed in God or, believed in any higher power, I would have told you no, because in my life, I'd never been shown, like I've never had that feeling or, that connection with a higher power. But I remember watching my kids being taken away from me in court, and I was just like, look, God, if you are real, I need you to take the people out of my life that ain't supposed to be there and put the people in it that are. And I need you to lead me in the right direction on where I'm supposed to go, because right now I'm at rock bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, but here's the thing: you hit your rock bottom, but now you're in a transitional living house and
I am.
actively working on your recovery. So let's talk about what life is going to look like post addiction, right? For anyone
Mm-hmm.
who has gone through recovery, um, it's not just about stopping the substance, it's about rebuilding your life. It's about finding peace and purpose again. It's also about like being around the right people. Now,
Right.
what has life been like for you just starting this new chapter? How's life been for you?
Honestly, I'm joyful, and I'm around such a good group of women that bring me up every day and let me know that it's okay to feel the way that I'm feeling. It's okay to still have cravings. It's okay that I'm in the kind of mind space that I am, but I am stronger and I am powerful and I can overcome this. And so
Oh
it's
man.
really, it's a blessing to be here, and I'm glad that I am.
All right, awesome. All right. You say this is like I'm strong and I'm powerful. I'm like, wow, that's really mind blowing for me. Because to admit being strong and powerful when for so long I was held captive or crippled
Mm-hmm.
by my addiction, like taking ownership. That's what it's all about. Now,
Right.
with the experience of living in the transitional housing and having the people around you, have you taken any steps to rebuild your life and relationships, more so the relationship, especially with your bestie? What have you done to rebuild that part of your life and relationships after this fiction?
So, something about me is that I don't like to apologize. I don't like to admit when I'm wrong. And I don't think anybody really does, but I've never been the kind of person to just step out of that and be like, hey, I messed up and you didn't deserve that. But I did that, and you know what? And she was still here, and she was here to support me. And I'm just, I'm very thankful that I have her. I really
Oh,
am.
well, guess what? Guess who joined us today? He might can hear me. I don't know if he can give me a thumbs up. I just want to make sure he can hear me. On the other side, I see Matthew has kind of jumped in a little bit. We're going to add him to the stream. We're going to tell him to turn his camera around if we can. Where does he go? Where'd he go? I don't see him. I don't see you, Matt. How's it going? I don't see you on the stream. Your phone went. I mean, you must be talking. Must be in a group chat. I get him back up. Right. I can see him on the other side. There he is. Is he dropped. He'll be back. At any rate, um, now your perspective on life has changed, and that's what truly matters. Like you have changed since entering recovery, and that's very important. Like what daily practices? Because I know you're kind of you told me about being outdoors a lot. What are some of the other habits or practices that you found most helpful in your recovery?
So me and one of the girlies that are here, we go to the gym, and we go on walks. We like photography too, so we've been taking pictures. And really, it's just like whenever you get out of addiction and you're sober for a certain amount of time, it's
Mhm.
like you see a whole new world. Because when I was in my addiction, I mean, I didn't see the world for how beautiful it really was. But working out, going to the gym, even going on nature walks, I mean, it helps a lot more than what you think it would. Because you're trapped by this demon for so long that whenever you're finally free of it or working on being free of it, it's like a whole new world, really.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what advice would you give? I see Matt has joined. Hey, Matt,
Well,
what's going on, brother? How you doing,
I,
man? All right, good
good
to
to see
see you. Good to see you too. Now we were talking about the life post addiction with Morgan and this is one of the questions that I think you eloquently went in on yesterday. What advice would you give to someone currently in the midst of their recovery journey, but they feel stuck or they feel overwhelmed by the whole process?
So I reached out to Matt after I'd gotten out of jail because I knew that he worked at Harbor House and he was somebody that was just kind of there throughout my addiction that, kept being in touch with me and just letting me know that he was there. And so I reached out to him after, and he um, sent me LaDonna's info and sent me the info on Oasis.
Mhm.
And honestly, like, it's so important for us to have these advocates because without them, some people will get out of jail and go right back into it, because they don't know that there's a whole community out there that can help you. I didn't, I had no idea.
Great, great, great. Now, Matt, I know you're here. I'm glad you're
you.
here, bro. I thought you had to work late, but you always
Yeah,
make time for me. Which is, did you
I
get your
do make
book?
time.
Did you get your book?
I did. Thank you.
All right,
Yeah,
awesome, awesome, awesome. I got a chapter in No Turning Back, dedicated just for Matt. Conversation that
yeah,
we had. Um, but we're close to wrapping up because we do have other obligations, especially with Morgan having to do some things afterwards. Because yesterday we were able to get on, we recorded an episode. It was real, like authentic, and everything was going on. And technology failed me, bro. It didn't record, so we had to come back and do it
yeah.
again.
I heard.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So, really quick, I do want to wrap up today's episode. We're not getting off, guys. I just need to get this little spiel out because I want to thank Morgan for again sharing your story with us. You're giving so much of yourself on today and on yesterday, and I know it will resonate with many of our listeners. Your story is one of strength, hope, and the power of taking that first step, even though you may not want to take it. You know what I mean? To everyone listening, if you or someone you love is struggling with addiction or looking for support, know that you're not alone. There are resources out there. There are people that will support you. There are there's always a path forward, right? Morgan's journey isn't over yet, and neither is yours. So take it one day at a time. To learn more about resources and support for addiction recovery, check out the links in the show notes. And if you're feeling inspired by today's conversation, reach out to someone who may need help or even share your story. You never know who needs to hear it. I want to thank you again for tuning in. But until I do have some questions for Morgan and for Matt now that he's on here. So, first, Morgan, how do you feel after sharing your story twice with the audience today?
Well, I feel like I did it better the second time than I did the first time. So yesterday was kind of a really rough day for me, honestly. And so I was just trying to, fight what was going on up here with incorporating all of this stuff also. And you know what? You're going to have days like that, unfortunately. But today's a better day, and I'm thankful.
All right, awesome. Hey, Matt, do you have a message to others who may be struggling with addiction right now? I know you do.
yeah. The most important thing, in my opinion, is knowing who that special someone is that you can call and be able to help get you out of that situation. Because every one of us have that one person, one or two people in the back of our mind that we know that we can call at any time to come to help us, and just reaching out and calling that person. And I was able to be there for Morgan, um, while she was in active addiction, and then obviously after she decided to get clean, and just being able to respond and being able to be there for somebody is the most important thing to it all. And for somebody to have that special somebody that they can reach out to, and that's important, is that mentorship, that trust, because if you don't have that, you're going to find yourself alone, and being alone in an addiction is a miserable spot.
I agree. I agree. So, Morgan, are there any? I know you're gonna give a shout out to Matt, but are there any
Yeah,
organizations or other people you would like recommend for those seeking help?
yeah, absolutely. LaDonna is amazing. Oasis, Matt. There's so many. Like, you just gotta, reach out, get help.
Okay. And
They
last
will
question.
for you.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I said they will be there for you.
They will be there for you, and that's what it's all about. And then what happens is there's a strange corner. Matt can probably tell you about this. Like when you find that person that you can reach out to, if you stay the course, you'll become that person that'll start. People start reaching out to you. Okay,
Yeah.
they'll see it. They'll see it, and they'll start coming at you. Then you're like, "Hey, how'd you do this? Right? How'd you do this? Can you help me?" I know. So, what is the hopes for the future for yourself and for others in recovery? What's the last word you would give for those people that are struggling? What's does the future look like?
Honestly, I don't know what the future holds, but I was kind of questioning God yesterday, and I was like,
Hmm.
I'm not really sure what kind of road you're going to lead me down or why you're leading me down this road. But I know that I have this calling inside of my heart, and every single time that I do something like this, it grows. Like, I feel like I need to do more. And
Yeah,
I actually had somebody reach out to me. His name is Hayden, and James McGill, I think is his name.
yeah.
Um,
I heard of James McGill.
yeah, gave him like some podcast stuff for him to get his podcast going. And he reached out to me and was like, hey, James gave me his stuff. I'm going to start this podcast. And I said, hey, man, if you're going to start it up and you need somebody on there, like, we
You
can
got
work
the
together.
experience, right?
And
You do
yeah,
your thing.
like, it was just really awesome that he had reached out to me. And, it just made me feel like, okay, so this is where I'm supposed to be at. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, because if it's not, why would he have reached out to me, telling me that? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just kind of those little things that have happened that I'm just like, I'm just grateful, really.
yeah. Matt, you got something?
No, I mean, just kind of echoing what she was saying about just God knows the timing, and you just got to stay prayed up, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu or whatever your belief is. God will show up and He'll show out. As long as you lean on that Spirit, and I truly believe that that's what's happening with Morgan. Is she prayed and God showed up. He may not have showed up when she wanted Him, but I believe that the God of her understanding is guiding and directing her path. And I see it, I recognize it, and I believe it's a spiritual thing.
There you go. Because this conviction fiction podcast is not just a podcast, it's a movement to change the narrative around life after addiction, after incarceration, all that stuff. By sharing personal journeys like Morgan's, we highlight the real stories behind recovery, transformation, and resilience. Now, these conversations are meant to inspire, challenge perceptions, and open doors to healing for both individuals and entire communities. That's what we're doing. That's what you're doing right now, Morgan. You're inspiring a community, right?
Yeah.
So, in addition to the powerful stories featured here, if you haven't yet, be sure to check out my book, No Turning Back. It's an interesting story in there about me and Matt Stevens. So check it out. It's available on Amazon wherever you buy your stuff. Also in what's that? Books a Million. You can go to Books a Million and get that book now. So shout out to Books a Million for having my book in there. So I want you to stay tuned, guys. I got some big news coming up that you don't want to miss. This is the Conviction Fiction. And Matt, we got to get you back on.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I know you are. I know you are, bro. Hey, look, I'm finna end this show today, but guess what? Stick around because we do have like a little after party that's gonna happen really quick. I know Morgan got to jump, but thanks for tuning in, guys. And I promise you, this one will get published like tonight.